Greetings, groovy people! Welcome to the channel. I'm the self-proclaimed Blue Dragon. When last we met, I was talking about the Realism Challenge, and this is Rena from my free Not Safe for Work comic, Dark Horse, link down in the description. We're gonna jump right into this. I might have been watching Blue Period. I was watching something that was an anime, and I don't remember what, but they had a downward shot. Anyway, that's what this is. It's not very good. I was just sitting and doodling. So, I started this sketchbook feeling very negative about myself in general, my state of mind, and just where I was. And by 2019, still kind of feeling isolated because I had quit my job. I wasn't really seeing a lot of people outside of, like talking to my neighbors occasionally and my partner's friends who were not my friends. Like, I'm friends with them and I like them and they are my friends. But it's, and it's not really the same thing as the friends that you naturally come across. So, like, they're cool. I love the shit out of them. I would consider, like, one set of his friends. I'm not going to say their names, but they have kids. They're married with kids. I would consider them, like, I talk enough to his wife, and she was his friend too, but I talk enough to them that I feel like, yeah, they've become my friends too. So I would consider them, like, kind of personal friends. Like, they might still talk to me if my partner and I broke up. But at any rate, that's kind of like the nuance between, like, people that you hang out with and that you like and you're friends with that were chosen by somebody else versus the friends that you naturally choose yourself. So, like, aside from that couple, while I'm friends with them and I like them and I would love to keep up relationships afterwards, realistically, I know if we ever broke up, they wouldn't give a shit about me. I mean, they give a shit about me, but they wouldn't give a shit about keeping in contact with me. If that makes sense? I hope that makes sense. And it's not any commentary or anything on them, because, like, I don't keep up with, like, aside from, like, my first actual boyfriend doesn't count because we were all friends in college. So they're still my friends. But, like, my second boyfriend, I don't keep up with, like, his friends that I was friends with, and they don't keep up with me. So if that makes sense, like, it's nothing personal at all, so I wouldn't ever expect them to do that. But at any rate, I was feeling kind of a lot of different things, like, so slightly isolated, but also, like, I have this tranquility thing going on, and, like, this year of the boar, that's just what I am. That's the year I fall in. I don't know, I just wanted to do some sketches, and this was really, I don't remember doing this, but I had a lot of, looking at it, I have a lot of fun looking at it, because I was in a better place. I still sometimes felt isolated, but clearly, I was doing better off. I think enough said. Ooh, I really want to finish this. I want to just do this image of Kana holding her lotus. Sometimes, believe it or not, I feel like just sketching my characters. I like them. I create them and you kind of get to like them, and anyway. I had assigned myself to practice drawing horses, and that's as far as I got. I started doing Friday night videos, so I wanted to come up with a new card to differentiate my Wednesday videos from my Friday videos. My grandma used to have this old TV, this tube TV, and I thought, well, that would be kind of cool. It's, I'm kind of old school. I like that kind of shit. Anyway, this looks like really bad, but, I mean, here's the finished version. Y'all, if you watch my videos, you might have seen this. This was so much fun. My dog was just lying there looking right at me, and he just started frickin' farting. Just farting. He's a farty little dog. I love him, but it's just that I don't even care that this is happening. That's the look he had on his face. He's like, oh, was that me? 'Cause I don't care. He's just so funny. Stop pooting. Oh, sorry. My dad's mom. Should I tell this story? Well, okay, so, like, back in the 60s, my dad's family is huge because they're a Catholic family, and my grandmother's from the Philippines, right? So, like, they were all piled into this fucking station wagon. I guess that's what kind of car they had, because they had, like, there were 7 kids, and then the 2 adults, right? But it was probably Dad or Uncle Steve, but somebody, like, they were on this long car ride somewhere. And one of the boys, or maybe the girls, but I'm pretty sure Dad was saying it was him. But they were farting in the car. All fucking these poor people, they're like trapped inside this fucking station wagon. Like 7 people. and someone's farting and stinking it up. And Dad said, like, his mom was yelling back, "Who is that back there? Stop pooting! Stop pooting!" And I never heard a fart be called a poot before. So it's kind of like an inside joke in our family that, you know, if someone farts, someone will randomly say, "Stop pooting." Apparently this was a traumatizing event for everyone because it was a story that Dad happened to retell. Oh my god, clearly I find this story. Why is farting so funny? This was for a crossover exchange, a summer Comic Fury Con exchange. I actually really like this comic. I wish they hadn't stopped updating it. I was introduced to it through the exchange, but they've kind of disappeared. I'll put a link down in the description to this comic. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But I had some cameos. Here are the finished pieces. I'll just show them. This is just me kind of working out what I wanted to do. Kana, this is where I got the cosplay Kana, where I have her dressed up like Chun-Li. No, she's not Chinese. Yes, she probably shouldn't have been dressing up like Chun-Li, but she was a fan of her, and the Street Fighter game she wasn't allowed to play. And when you're a fan of something and you're a teenager, a lot of times you don't think about that kind of stuff, so I do apologize if that is offensive to anyone. She certainly was not coming to, I was not coming to it with any offense. But yeah. Oh, this comic is fun too, Cosmos. But I had some cameos for different things in here. Julius was lying next to me with his eyeballs rolled up in the back of his head. Not a very good image, but, you know, I was just scribbling. This is not good. I was trying to draw Yuli, super cute, for the comic. I've actually ended up redrawing this, and you can see it here. It still has some issues, but I had a lot of fun with it. I don't know what I was doing. This was more watching YouTube videos and just sketching, just drawing some fruit and leaves and stuff like that. Every kind of fruit I could think of, I tried to draw. So I got some dragon fruit, nectarines, cantaloupe. Yeah, you get it, you get it. Hit pause if you want to look at this, because I'm moving on. And here's the finished vote for Julius. It's still messed up. I can't draw hats for the life of me, but it's okay, because he's supposed to look silly. Anime Forums was holding a Chibi My Hero Academia contest. I didn't really care if I won or not. I just wanted to kind of participate. It's not too busy over there, but there were a couple people who participated. I did not win, and that was fine. I don't really watch this show. I tried to watch it, but I love the shit out of anime, but I don't love the shit out of every anime, and where I am in my life now, I'm not particularly interested in, like, competition animes, especially, like, fighting competition animes, but that doesn't mean that this is a bad show. It's just, I tried to watch it and I was just like, not for me. It's good, it's fine. I don't really, maybe you could tell in my drawing that I don't really watch it. I don't know. It was fun. I like the character designs, and this was really fun. I don't ever draw this kind of stuff, so I was like, oh, that'll be fun to do. Oh my god, I did a whole video on this. This was my initial sketch for Have a Cup of JoJo. You can learn more about that. I'll put it down in the description below. This was a lot of fun to work on, and I was trying to draw bigger bodied characters. You can see the finished version. But go watch the video if you want to learn more about my thought process. I have no idea what I was thinking when I was doing this. I don't know if I was high or what the hell was going on, but I just wanted to do this really cool sketch of weird-ass psychedelic shit. There's shells, there's someone crying, there's weird-ass mouths everywhere, vampire teeth. I don't know, but I like it. I like it. I don't usually do shit like this, like I've said. So whenever I do sketches, I kind of like, I have fun when I do something like this, and I like it. I like how it turned out. Actually last year I had someone tell me that I should turn this into a t-shirt design and sell it when I was at the summer market. And I'm thinking I might do it, but yeah, the prompt was dragon. I was like, being blue dragon, I have to do a blue dragon. And I did a video on this, so I'll show you the finished piece. But if you want to learn more about this, I have a YouTube video on it. It's probably not very entertaining, but you can watch it if you want. Speaking of that summer market, on the downtime in between people coming to my booth, I was just kind of drawing the building across from me and the booth across from me. This kid, he was a teenager. I call him a kid because he was a teenager, but the kid across from us was really cool. His art was pretty cool. My partner ended up buying a piece from him that was really well done. This was the initial sketch for an image of Rena that I was working on. You can see the finished version here. Actually, I have two versions of this. I have a digitally colored one and then a traditionally inked colored one. Trying to think about Karen's brother and what he would look like now. Karen Blue from the comic Dark Horse. Again, trying to work on bigger bodies. This is actually kind of an older sketch before I was starting to really do that. I'm not sure if I don't know if I like his design or not. I had to think about it. He's probably not going to be in the comic anyway. I just wanted to draw him. I was definitely high when I was drawing this, apparently. But this was just our little basil tree. Like, we had gone and ordered Thai. We had ordered some pho. And there was so much basil that I didn't end up using it all. Like, I put one of the basils, like, just in a little thing of water. And I started it from that, for free. And then I planted it in this little planter that my sister had given me. And we had like fresh basil from that little start. But then I left it out and it died. And I'm a terrible plant person. I need to be better. I feel bad. I'm so sorry. You had a second lease on life. And I fucked it up for you. I am sorry. I actually gave this away as a gift. But it was, towards the end of summer of the first year of the pandemic, and someone on the Comic Fury forums, she is a school teacher, and she was putting together a zine for her students to print off at home and put together. And so she had gone to the forum and said, hey, if anybody wants to participate in this, since the kids are having a real fucking sucky year, as are we all, but it's particularly hard for kids. They don't necessarily understand what's going on. Of course, neither do quite a few adults, but what am I saying? But at any rate, she wanted it to be like kid friendly, so I was like, okay, I want to draw Jack and Julius just for Halloween. It was a Halloween themed thing. And so this was my idea for it. And I was really getting into looking at some of Casey Golden's drawings, how she was doing some of her inking, and I was kind of like lifting some of her techniques. So that's where I got the finished piece. It looks like this. And I had a lot of fun with this, and I hope the kids enjoyed it. It was just, if they wanted to color it themselves, they could, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Working on my election day Whimper in the dark. It was Julius, Jack, Yellow Dog, and Cthulhu all running for president at the same time. But this was inspired by the KFDM album cover art. I can't remember the name of the artist who does that artwork. But yeah, that was kind of like the idea behind it, just using 3 colors. And the finished version is here. And I sold this version, so I no longer have the original. Believe it or not, this sketch here ended up looking like... I shouldn't really show it, but it ended up looking like this. And you can only get it in Act 3 of Dark Horse. I'm not sharing it anywhere else. I'm just showing you what the finished piece looked like. This was for the Christmas crossover exchange or the holiday exchange, whatever. Actually, I really enjoy this comic. I keep up with it too. It's called Battalion, and it's on Comic Fury. This was my first idea, just kind of trying to sketch Haina? I'm probably pronouncing her name wrong. It's an interesting comic. This is what I ended up doing, only instead of having Julius out front, I was running out of space because I didn't plan things very well in the final piece, but I ended up putting him on the back, and you can see that image here. I had a lot of fun with this. I mean, for holidays, I only really do one image because I'm just so busy, like either making presents or just preparing for Christmas, because I do celebrate Christmas. I just don't have enough time to invest in making a whole comic usually for the crossover during the holidays. And then they had like cover, like a character that you could have. So I had Jack being a caroler. I just was drawing Lee Line's version of Phantoma, which is a Silver Age comic that's in the public domain now. It's a fun comic. I read his stuff. I hope he's kind of told me some of the ideas he was going to be going through and drawing. I hope he's able to get that done. He was taking a break from that kind of stuff. There's some mushrooms. I like enoki mushrooms. They're very tasty. I like woodier mushrooms. They are very woody and very yummy. I don't eat toadstools. I love oyster mushrooms. Dark Horse Presents. I have this idea to do like the succubus files. Although I'm kind of, you know, because she ends up being, you find out she's such a terrible character, I don't really know if I want to like have something focusing on her completely because of what she does is so horrendous. But, I don't know, I was thinking about doing like a Succubus Files little spin-off thing. I don't know, I may or may not do it. I was doing some chibis of Karen Blue, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for her chibis. You know, graduation was a big deal for her, but then I was like, well, this is an okay design, but it's not very fun. So then I was like, well, she's kind of a teacher, so maybe this could be fun. And then I was like, well, yeah, but it's also, I mean, like, I like teachers, you know, some teachers, not, you know, not all teachers. Some teachers are better than others. So I was like, no, I don't really like that either. Too close to hanging with Mr. Cooper, too obvious. So then I was like, well, what if I, you know, let's draw her just having fun. So I was like, let's take it back to when she was like younger, like way younger in the 90s. These were the ideas, and then I was like, I'm going to do them both. And so here's the finished versions. You can watch the videos on these on YouTube. I'm not going to talk too much about this, why I was doing these pieces, but this is some fan art for 0 Hours, The Adventures of Sir Powers. It's a fun comic. This is Helena. She's really fucking cool. I like her character. I like her design. If you want to check that out, I recommend it. It's a lot of fun. It breaks the fourth wall a lot, but in a fun way, not like kind of in a trite way. It's actually kind of fresh in some of the ways that he does stuff. So it's enjoyable, and I like his character, Helena. I was just doodling. Got an eraser head. Oh, I was just drawing my hand thing here. Yeah, not much more to say. Wong? Oh, you know, we were reading David Wong's, John Dies at the End. My partner and I, well, we had read it in 2020. One of the things he and I did during the quarantine, and we're still, like, mostly quarantined even now, but, like, we'll go out a little bit more, but we're fairly cautious. But we started reading stories aloud to each other. Like, we would alternate who read the chapter, because being a big old Lincoln nerd, and just that's how people used to entertain themselves back in the days. They would read aloud a lot of times and share the story with each other. And I think that's a really good way to bond, and I don't think we really do that enough nowadays. Like, we read to our kids sometimes, or shove YouTube videos in front of them. But yeah, like, reading aloud is just so much fun. And so we read Breakfast of Champions. We read Murakami's Killing Commendatore, and we read John Dies at the End. All three of those books are just fucking amazing, and it was so fun to read aloud. This is also a character from Sir Power. This is Sir Power from The Adventures of Sir Power by 0 Hour. You can go check it out. I absolutely love Delphine from Delphine and Zygadeus. This is just a sketch that I did. This is not the finished piece. I actually ended up doing something completely different, but I changed it up from there. But this is a really fun comic, and you can read it on Tapas or Comic Fury. I personally read it on Tapas. Links down in the description. I've talked about this before too, and like my fan art video that I did at the end of last year. So check out my fan art video if you want to learn more about Delphine and Zygadeus. I was working on the VDSD for 2021. This is the idea. This is the finished product. And you can look, I mean, I did a video on it too, but I can't link every video I've done. I was watching Peter Draws, and so I was like, I want to do some freestyle doodling, but then it ended up looking kind of like Shakespeare, only with an ass cough. I don't know. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, though. I had a lot of fun with this, and then I added some color here and there. It's fun. I like it. I like how it turned out. I wanted to draw David Bowie, and so I did. Low is another one of my favorite albums. I mean, I have so many favorite albums. Oh, here's Nikki. She's not been introduced into Dark Horse yet, but this is Nikki. She will be in the comic eventually. I had been watching some videos by Khadija Bow. You can check out their videos on YouTube. Particularly the one that I was watching that inspired this was Beauty is in the Eye of the Colonizer. This was not my first video of theirs that I had watched, but I absolutely just fell in love with the content, their singing, just great, well thought out videos, and they're so casual, and like the hippie Khadija, I totally relate to in my own way, and so I really like their videos. It's a great channel, and they were talking a lot about Marilyn Monroe, and you know, it's just a fascinating video. I can't really explain it to you. Go watch it yourselves, because there's no way I'm going to be able to paraphrase what all they talk about in that video. But that's what kind of inspired like this idea. That, and I talk about this in my YouTube video, but I also had a friend that I had worked with that had come back to visit us, and she was wearing like this stunning white dress, and I was just kind of, you know, kind of floored by how like beautiful she was and how beautiful the dress was. And so there were a lot of kind of things that were like kind of inspiring me when I created this, and I kind of wanted to capture that beauty. Here I was working on some character designs for a zine I was submitting to, and I actually ended up changing the idea a little bit. Like initially, these two pages actually go together. This was initially what I was planning, but then I was like, no, I don't want them to look like that. Because I watched another video by a YouTuber who is non-binary, and they were talking about how like they were sick of seeing the exact same stereotype of non-binary, which yeah, mythical creatures can be a stereotype in and of itself. But I was trying to like create a, like after watching that video, I was like, okay, well maybe I could do something different and have them be slightly larger and have a darker complexion. And so this actually came first, and then I moved over here. And then I ended up not really like having like any like human like skin tones anyhow. But that was just kind of how it evolved. Oh yeah, and this is more to do with that piece. We have a lot of outdoor eating areas here. So when my partner and I do go out, we try to dine outside if at all possible. But we had gone to a vegan restaurant that does Cuban food here in town. And while waiting for our order to come up, I was just kind of sketching things that were on the table, like the hand sanitizer. We'd ordered a couple drinks for ourselves, and then, I brought my vitamin bottle. That's what that is. Like, what the fuck? This does not fit. One of these does not belong. It's not very, none of these are very good, but I was just sitting there practicing because we were out, we were waiting. I was like, I could get some practice in. But I actually do kind of like I mean, it's not perfect, but it was fun. And apparently it's gone now. I wanted to get Kana's expression right for a panel. I'll show the finished piece here. I like it, but I still think, like, this mouth, I really like how well I drew this mouth. I was looking at Sailor Moon. I was really trying to kind of channel that magical girl look that Naoko Takeuchi had. But anyway, it looks okay. She looks okay in the finished drawing. It looks okay. I did an entire video on this, so I am not going to go into a lot of detail because I've already talked about these images. This is an aunt of mine from the Philippines during the war, or maybe shortly thereafter the war. My grandmother moved here after the war, but then I was trying to, for Asian American Heritage Month, you never see anything Filipino. You never see anyone Filipino. Even poor Lou Diamond Phillips always gets typecasted as either Latino or Native American. I don't think I've ever seen him play a Filipino American. But, I mean, good for him getting some work, but, like, poor guy, I guess he doesn't care. He does well for himself, and he's a good actor. I don't, you know, he does good for himself. But at any rate, I wanted to draw some frickin' Filipino stuff. So, I mean, I'm white. See, I'm white, if you couldn't tell. I am totally Caucasian. I'm very, very rarely am I ever, like, does anybody ever think that I have Asian in me? So I just want to make that clear. I'm not like roguing up on other people's stuff. I talk about it in that other video, but I wanted to pay homage to my ancestry because I do like videos on like the Irish American heritage, and like, you know, I talk about a lot of English stuff and I talk about a lot of other things, and it's like, why shouldn't I also talk a little bit about this part of my history, especially since it had a lot of influence on my dad and the way he was because of things historically that had happened in his family that I'm not going to talk about. So I just wanted to kind of pay homage and have some Filipina American stuff. This was me working on Time Warp, the cover. This was the idea I wanted to do, and then I ended up changing things a little bit. I ended up deciding to have Kana not be silly, because it's kind of not in her personality. But you can see the finished piece here. I had a lot of fun with that cover, by the way. And I'm going to open these up again. Again, I talk in more detail, but this was me getting off my ass and actually sketching something fairly decent as part of the Pacific Islander Asian American Month. That's the wrong order. I say it right in the video. I wanted to, you know, pay a little bit more respect to the photograph of my aunt. And this is someone whose image I got from Pinterest, which I share in the link in that other video. And I was doing sireninas. A little duelo? Duelo? Is that what that is? Saber Spark. I watched Saber Spark. And I wanted to draw his picture. Or his, you know, avatar's picture. This was for the Act 7 cover. I was kind of coming up with some ideas, and then this was what I ended up finalizing my image on. I make videos on YouTube, but they still piss me off. I have a better version of this. This was the idea, but I have a better version that's less tacky in my new sketchbook, but that's almost how we end this sketchbook. Holy shit. This is the finished piece. So you don't actually get to see her titty. I decided I'd be a little bit more tasteful than that, but she's kind of a punker. And she's saying, fuck you too. Anyway, I really like this. I had to talk. This is for another sketch video. I won't talk about this one. I really like this silly fucking design. I use this design so often. I used it here. This exact same shirt I think Yuli's mom is wearing in Act 3 of Dark Horse. And then I think I actually had a similar design on Karen Blue for her biography. I just like, it just feels super 90s and I'm not creative. Yeah, I was just drawing people. And this was like Hollywood's, or Holly Squares. You know, Hollywood Squares. And this is just some chick, I don't even know. I just fucking drawing all over the page. And this was inspired by Drawing with Waffles video. She does like this, Rosalind and someone else. Like, she has these alien characters that she draws a lot. And she was drawing on like this dark colored board for one of her sketchbooks. So I was like, I want to try that. So I started with like the white and then I added black. It's not good. It was just me doodling. And oh my god! That's the end of the book! That's my sketchbook. That's the end. I don't know how to end this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope that by seeing how poorly I draw, but how things slowly improve over several years, I hope that inspires you. If you're sitting on the fence, if you are, you know, just watching this, if you're not an artist, or if you are an artist but you don't like to draw or you get shy, you don't think that what you're doing is good enough, I want to show you that, like, dude, I just got a commission this week. And of course, I've been, you know, when I do a commission, it looks pretty good, but I couldn't do this at the beginning of 2015 when this started. Maybe I could, but it wouldn't have looked like this. So the point of showing you all my crappy secrets, all my horrible drawings, all the things that I want to hide away from people, I showed this. I probably shouldn't be saying this at the end of the video, at the end of the series, but I've got to end this somehow, right? By demonstrating how crappy my art is, I wanted to kind of show that if you put the time in, or even if you just sit around and you sketch while you're watching something and you're trying to improve, you can and you will. I certainly had a lot of bad art in here, and I had pieces that I really liked. Even some of the later pieces were like from last year I didn't like. But from all that, you can sift through the stuff you don't like and find an idea that you do like and work on it and work on it and work on it. You don't have to be a good artist compared to all these people who's maybe you get kind of envious of other people's art. Don't. Where they're at and where you're at, they're two different, you're two different people. You have different experiences. Maybe they've been doing something, maybe things come easy to them. It doesn't matter, because you and them are not the same person. And the only thing that matters is when it comes to like your craft, is focusing on where you're at and where you want to be, and not comparing yourself to other people and not worrying about what other people think. Because when I created this shit, like, I had to worry a little bit, but I was like, I'm not gonna be showing my teacher all this shit. I was like, let's just kind of getting the idea down, and I'll go from there and make something else out of that. So I'm just here to say that it's worth putting in the time and the work, because I really didn't do a lot in this book until I started in 2018 really starting to sketch more for like Inktober, and using this for like ideas for other pictures, and then eventually trying to sketch a little bit every day. It was kind of doing this that really helped me improve. Like, I've been working on pages for Dark Horse for the revamp of Act 9, and I can tell that the ease at which I am drawing characters and getting their body proportions somewhat down, it's just so much easier now, because I've been like practicing so much of the faces that I can focus more on the bodies. And I didn't get like that overnight. Clearly, I didn't get like that overnight, but it's been helping me get to where I want to be in my comic and my art. I still have a long way to go. I know that. But I'm hoping if you take anything away from this video, or this video series, I should say, if you take anything away from it, at the risk of sounding cliched, I've got to say, just do it. Just do it. You don't have to do it every day. You don't have to stress yourself out about it. Don't make it, if you have like a lot of anxiety, don't make it a thing where you have high expectations. Just do it. See what happens. Get your hands exercised. Have some fun with it. If it doesn't look good, don't sweat it. Don't beat yourself up about it. Because if you keep doing it when you have time, or when you want to, or when you're just chilling, if you keep doing it and paying attention to what you're doing and trying to make that connection between eye and hand, and let the brain do its thing and help you connect those two with like the body memory, like the muscle memory, and your vision, you'll slowly be able to start improving. Or even quickly. I mean, if you do it a lot, your improvement will probably be sped along. If I would be much further along if I'd had more time, and I recognize that a lot of it has to do with I do this full time now, so it's not just I realize that I'm in a privileged position, I guess is what I'm saying, where I have the time to do this, although I don't, because I'm doing so many other things too. But you know what I'm saying. I can focus more on it than like someone with a full-time job. But yeah, you'll get better. Don't like lose hope. Anyway, that's my motivational speech. I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace and love. Fare you well. And keep on trucking.